Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Uh, Please let me know, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Ayush has not joined today also, is it? Okay. So today, this class is going to be short because I'm not feeling that well. So let us quickly cover some topics. And so today's topic is if else, which is a very important topic. So let us get started. I will share my screen.
It's being recorded.
Okay. I'll share the screen now. I hope the screen is visible. And
Yes, sir.
where did the whiteboard go? Okay. Yeah. So normally in a Python program, the statements executes from top to bottom. Means suppose if we have two, three lines of statement, so it always executes from top to bottom. Like the first line will execute first, then the second line and third line, and so on. It is always a top-down approach. But in a practical program where there will be thousands of line of code, sometimes we want to execute any particular line conditionally. Like this line number 3, suppose we have a line number 3. We want to execute it conditionally. Means not always this will execute. Sometimes this will execute and sometimes it will not. So whenever there is such a situation, we need to use this tool if else. So today we'll learn how can we use if else. So for that, first we have to know the syntax of if else. So if else is always written like this. It starts with the keyword if, then a test expression, there will be always a test expression followed by a colon, and the body for if. Excuse me for a moment. Sorry. So if test expression, the body for if, and then followed by else, else colon else body. So it is important to note here that if is a keyword, we always have to start with if. Then we will write a logical expression, which could be any expression that resolve as a Boolean value. It could be something like x greater than y. Yesterday we have seen that the final result of such expression is always a Boolean. So after if, always we have to write an expression that will resolve as a Boolean, then a colon. If this expression is true, then this part will execute. If this expression is false, then the else part of the code will execute. If we need to see an example, it will be like that. Suppose if true, do this, else do this. So here I'm writing it as true, but this will not be just static true. It will be expression which could be true or false. But if it is true, it will always do this, else it will do this. To see a more practical example, suppose we have x equal to 5, y equal to 2, then we can write if x greater than y, print x is larger, else print y is larger. Now, based on the value of x and y, in this case, x is 5, y is 2. So, if x greater than y, so it will be true or false. This expression here, it will be a true or false. Anyone? Yeah. So if true, that means it will resolve as if true. So if true, it will always print this line of code. this else part will not execute. If I change the values to, suppose, x equal to 2, y equal to 5, now if x greater than y, now this will become false. In this case, this will not execute, it will execute this else part, right? So let us see this in a example. So just now we have discussed the syntax of if else. It always has to be if paste expression colon. Now there has to be a indent. Indent means some certain number of spaces. So in this case, I will put 4 space 1, 2, 3, 4. Print if, not print actually. Let me write just if true, and the else part colon, again indent if false. So this indent means here you can see that the code is not in same line with if, rather it is inside this if part. So this indicates that this is a subpart of this if statement. So to indicate that this code will execute, this is the body of if, we have given this indent, it is important. And the body of else is this. Again here we have given some spaces, this is also important. Okay. Now keeping this sentence in our mind, who is this guest? Hello. Sneha, Anupam, am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible.
So this guest, may I know your name? Who's this guest? You type in chat because I think you are speaking, but you are not audible. Okay, here I'm allowing you some time while we are continue. Okay. So x equal to 5, y equal to 2. Now how we'll write if? So suppose this is a program to check to print which one of these numbers is the bigger number. So if x greater than y, observe this syntax. Always it starts with if, then a logical expression. This logical expression is always return a boolean value, either true or false. There is two boolean values only, true and false, and a colon. After that, you need to put a indent. So normally we put a tab. Print x is bigger. Okay. Now I'll just run this part. Sorry, there is syntax error. I need to close this bracket. So you see, it is printing x is bigger because obviously we can see this statement will resolve as a true because x is 5, y is 2. Now let me complete the else part. So with if, else is not mandatory, but if we want to do something when this is not true, we need to write the else part. So for else, I again need to go back from where at the level of if, else, then under else there is an indent. Print y is bigger. Right. I will now just change the values. I will put x as 2, y as 5. If I do this, now this statement will become if x means 2, 2 greater than y, y means 5. So if 2 greater than y, Anupam, this is true or false? 2 greater than 5, it is true or false?
It's false.
False. So that means it will be if false. So whenever this is false, always remember this part will not execute, rather whatever we are doing under else, it will execute. So if we run this, we will see that it will print y is bigger. Again, this syntax error. So right, y is bigger. Now instead of printing y is bigger, we could give it a meaningful value like str x is bigger. Here y is bigger. Mm, okay. So far what we have seen is if a logical expression is true, the body of if will execute. If this is false, the body of else will execute. Now under if, there can be any number of statements. It is not like that it has to be only one statement. There could be any number of statements, but the condition is they has to be at this level, means there should be an indent, means space. But here if I write like this will be wrong because this statement is not under if, it has to be like this. Okay, so whenever this is true, all these three will execute. Let us see. So here is the indent issue. Actually, this is another system where I do not have the correct setup for Python. Let me see if it works. So, as we have seen in the browser, when I have written this code, there was some issue with this indent and it did not work. But here, the indentation is proper. That's why it is working. So I have these three statement here under if, and all these three has printed here. Okay. So that means under if, as long as you are maintaining this space, you can write as many statements as you want. And this is same for else also. Okay. So just to make sure that we got the point, why to use this if? This is because here we have these statements, but we do not always want to execute all of this. We want to conditionally execute either this or this. That is when we use if and else. So maybe we can take an example where suppose it is asked to write a program to find if any year is leap year or not. Okay. Suppose from the user will take the year as the input. Okay. Year equal to, how do we take the input? If you remember, we need to write input. We need to give a message, enter year, right? Do you remember this? Now, always this input give us a string, but here we need it as a number. So we will convert it to a number like this. Then the year that user will enter, it will be converted to integer and it will be stored in this variable year, right? After that, do we know how to find whether a year is leap year or not? Any given year, how do we know this is leap year or not? One,
If the number of days is 1 greater than the number we get, that is 366.
no, suppose the year is 2004. So how will you know that if that 2004 is leap year or not?
If the number of days being 366 instead of 365, then we can know now.
No, here I'm saying you the 2004. Now, I don't know whether there is 266 or whatever you are saying. So only the year is given to you. You need to find out whether that is leap year or not. The days are not given to you. Only the year is given to you. And all of us have done this problem in our lower classes. Anybody else? How do you find if a year is leap year or not? What is the condition for that? There is a condition for that.
February being 29 days.
Again, yeah.
Sir, if the digit of the particular year is divisible by 4, then it is a leap year.
Yeah, so this is something we have known. Okay, Anupam, what you are saying is the internal fact that if the day February being 29 days and the total number of days being 366, then that year is called leap year. But the easier way to find whether a year is leap year or not is this: that if the day year is divisible by 4, then divisible by 4 means if it is completely divisible by 4 and there is no remainder left, then it is a leap year. So this is one of the condition, and I don't know whether you guys have got it or not, but there is another condition that it also has to be divisible by 400. Okay, it also has to be divisible by 400, then it is leap year. So two conditions: it has to be divisible by 4, also it has to be divisible by 400, then it is leap year. So with this, let us complete this. So suppose we have taken the year as an input. Now we need to find two things: if that is divisible by 4 and also if that is divisible by 400. So those who were present in yesterday's class, tell me what statement we need to write to find if this year is divisible by 4 and then there is no remainder left. Which operator will use to find the remainder? In yesterday's class, we have seen the different operators, right? So one of those arithmetic operator was to find the remainder. What was that? And what is the name of that? And what is the symbol for that?
Division operator.
No, division operator is not used to find the remainder.
Modulus.
Yes, this is the module. Okay. So we need to find if I divide year by 4, we need to find if there is any remainder or not. If there is no remainder, that means it's completely divisible. So this is the modulus. I'm saying if year divisible by 400, sorry, 4, and the remainder is 0. Okay. So that means if I divide year by 4, the remainder will be 0. And it also match the another condition, year divisible by 400. And again the remainder is 0. If both of these conditions are matched, then only it is a leap year. So see, here we have if, we have one logical expression, and then we have a and there is another logical expression. Yesterday we have seen that we can use and or between two logical expressions. So in case of and, when it is true, so for this statement to be true, whether both of these need to be true or any one of, if any one of these is true, then it will be true. Anyone? What is the nature of and?
Both the booleans have to be same.
No, not same.
Means
So there is something called truth table. Okay, there is something called a truth table. I don't know, there is a whiteboard. Where did it go?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, AND operator actually checks whether uh, both the statements are true or not.
yeah, right. So there is something called truth table that you need to know. So according to this truth table, this looks something like this. Suppose we have a table and so this is the result. This is the case 1. This is the case 2. So in case of AND, if the first one is true and the second one is true, then the result you will tell me. If the first one is true, second one is false. If the second one is false, first one is true. If the first one is false and also second one is false, so these are the different combinations that are possible, right? So when there are two conditions, these are different possibilities. Either both of them will be true, one of them will be true, and both of them will be false. So in case of AND, when both of them are true, then the result is true. If any one of them is false, then the result is false. It doesn't matter which one is false. If both of them are false, then the results are also false. So only if the case 1 and case 2, both of them are true, then only the result will be true. Okay. Now, in case of OR, so the things are true, true, and the result true, false, result, false, true, result, false, false, result, right? In case of OR, if both of them are true, then it is true. If any one of them are true, then again it is true. If both are false, then it is false. Okay. So because this is OR, either this or this, if any one of these is true, then the final result will be true. But in case of AND, it is mandatory that this one and this one, both of them has to be true, then only the final result will be true. Is that clear to all? Any doubt? Sneha, Anupam, Kunjal, you got it? Totally? Is there any doubt?
Yes, no doubts.
I have issue in the indent part.
Okay, we'll come to that. But for the truth table that I just explained now, is it clear? Okay. Indent is easy. Indent means so just to indicate the boundary of if. So I want to show that if true, this has certain number of codes inside this. So which is normally in any other language, the if statements are something like that. Suppose if some statement x greater than y, then there is actually, so it is Java, it is whatever I'm writing now, it's a Java syntax. Then they have a bracket to indicate that from here to here, this comes under this if. And again, after that, there could be a else, which is optional, and else also has a body. This is the else body. Okay, and this is the if body. So to indicate that whatever we write between these braces, those belongs to this if, and whatever we write between that means the next line of code has to be at this level. So as maintain this, it will be body of if. And again, the else has to be in the same level of if. And the body of else will need to have this indent. So as long as you maintain this, it will be the part of else. And just after this, whenever you will go back to the same level, that means this line is not part of this else. So this space here we are calling as indent. Is it clear? So this indent is just the Python way to indicate that these lines of code are under this if. अभी समझ में आया अनुपम?
Sir.
Just like our house has a boundary to indicate that inside this boundary everything belongs to us, just like this if has this indent. As long as you write the codes by giving this indentation, that means that all these lines will execute when this if is true. And when you go back to this level, that means this is not inside if. Okay, and once you are out of this if, that means you are out. Now it is normal flow. Okay. So this all together, this if else means what? Suppose you are going somewhere on the way, and then you see this. There is a divider, and there are two ways. One way goes to right, another way goes to left. Okay, and in between here is a signboard. So one of that shows that this way is suppose Delhi, and the other way is suppose Mumbai. So if you want to go to Delhi, you will go to this way. If you want to go to Mumbai, you will go this way. Similarly, in case of if else, the program comes like this from top to bottom. It is coming this way. Okay, okay, okay. But here it has a condition, right? Something to check. This could be anything, something to check. And after checking, the result is going to be a true or false. So here it will change something, it will check. Suppose it may check if x greater than y, or it could check anything else. But after checking, the result will be always either true or false. If it is true, then it will go this way. If it is false, then will go that way. So if you see, if is used to actually control the flow of the program based on some condition. Okay, and we have seen that. How do we write if else? We write like this. So again, coming back to the program that we are doing, we are taking the year from user. So for the convenience, now suppose we are not taking it from user, I will just hard code it 2004. If year is divisible by 4 and year is divisible by 400, then we can say that print year, like this, year is leap year format. Else, now see, to indicate that this line number 6 is under this if, I have given this indent. Else is not under if, that's why this is the same level of if. There is no indentation. Now under if there is an indentation, I will write print year is not leap year. Right? Not format. If we run this, it is saying 2004 is not a leap year. Was 2004 a leap year? Is 2004 a leap year? The year 2000, like the year 199, 2004 is a leap year. So that means there is some issue with the conditions. So if we just consider this fact of divisible by 4, maybe it will come as leap year. Yes. Now there is two things. One thing is that actually, to be sure what makes a year leap year, or just for the sake of understanding, if else, we can consider that for now that the year which is divisible by 4 is a leap year and which is not, it is not. But to actually clarify the fact, the logic is that a year is divisible by 4 but not by 100 unless it is also divisible by 400. Okay, so that means a year which is divisible by 4, it will be leap year, but also the condition is that it should not be divisible by 100, and if it is divisible by 100, then it also has to be divisible by 400, then only it will be leap year. So you see there is a lot of complexity, but I don't want to put this complexity here on this logic, because it will it will be a cognitive load to understand this if else. So let us keep this example simple. And this is a simple example of if else, which shows how based on a condition the flow of the program changes. If we just change this value and execute it, instead of executing this line number 4, it will execute the line number 8. Yeah, 2005 is not leap year. This is from this line number 8. So we see that the if statement actually controls whether to this statement to execute or this statement to execute. But for here, this line number 4, we do not have any control. Every time it will be executed. But line number 6 and line number 8, it will be executed based on this condition. That's why if is called conditional statement. Based on this condition, either the program will execute this or it will execute that, right? Now, let us take another example. As per this example, we need to print the grades of a student. So the grading that is given is 90 and above. If the student got 90 and above, so the gradings are like this. Yeah, 90 and above, the grade is A. 70 to 79 is C. 60 to 69 D. 80 to 89 B. And below, okay, shit, it has to be the set line number here. Below that is below 60% is failed. So now we need to write a program. So the program finally has to print the grade, and the marks, percentage of the marks will be taken from the user, right? So what can we do? Suppose the marks, we'll consider it for the first time. Suppose I'm considering it to be 80. Now we need to write program that will print the grades, and the condition has given here. So what can we do? We can write couple of if statements to check this, and based on that we can print the grade. So any one of you, do you think you can write the program, given the marks 80%, you can write a program which will print the appropriate grade that the user got? Or you tell me, what should I write here? I will start with if. Now tell me, help me to write this statement. What should I write here? What do you want to check? We know the marks is 80%. Now what do you want to check? And speak up. Yeah, tell me.
If marks greater than greater than 90, then print
So as per this,
A.
as per the condition, if it is greater 90 and above, right? 90 and above, then A. So we need to add equal to also, because 90 is also included, right? 90 and above, it will be A. So print A, right? Yes, so far so good. Now, for this, Anupam, tell me how. So this grade A is done. Now you tell me for grade B, what we need to do. When it is grade B, when it will be grade B.
I'm confused here.
I'm just saying when it is grade B.
If it lies between 80 to 89,
Right.
less
So that
than
means
90,
what? Less than 90.
90, greater than 79.
Yes. So so that is it. That is it. You, whatever you said now, that is correct. So there is, in case of this, there was not any upper range. Only there was the lower range that it has to be 90 or above. There is no upper ceiling. But in case of this, we have a lower limit and we have a upper limit, right? So it has to be more than 79, or we can say 80. Same thing. Here, same thing, because we are not considering any fraction. But I think we should consider fraction because suppose the marks is this. Okay. So instead of saying greater than 79, we will say from 80. And from 80 to 89. That means 89 not greater than 89. So I can write here. Now this is another statement. This one is done. This is another if statement. So I will write it separately. If marks greater than or 80. How do we write it? Greater than, equal to
Greater
80.
80.
Greater than equal to 80. That means either it is 80 or greater than 80. But this is only
Less
for the
89.
this is only for the lower limit, but we also have the upper limit, right? That means we need to join. We need to join another condition. And for joining condition, we always use and. Or we use or. But in this case, it will be and, because both of these has to be satisfied, not only one. And marks, so the thing is 79. That means lower than equal to 89.
89.
So here they are giving us some way to simplify chain comparison. How do they do it? Let us see. Okay, this is something else which I do not want to speak up right now. Yeah. So everybody got this condition, and when that is match, it is B. Right? So किसी को ये नहीं समझ में आया ऐसा है? How we have written this statement 80 to 89? Sneha, you got it?
Can you repeat?
So why should you wait for me to ask? If you have doubt, you should promptly say that I did not get it. Okay? Be interactive, guys. So we need to find that whether this marks is lying between 80 to 89. Okay, that means the marks has to be minimum 80 and maximum 89. So anything between that will be grade B. So for that, what I'm checking, if marks greater than equal to 80 and less than equal to 89. So that means 80 से लेकर 89 तक, ठीक है? अगर मार्क्स 80 या 80 से बड़ा है and 89 या उससे छोटा है, so that means this ना. So when we write as the end, that means it will check this, also it will check this. And if any number is in between 80 to 89, for that it will be true. Also this will be true. And as a whole, this will be true. And it will print B. So there is a simpler way to write it, and that is that. If you write this, you will easily understand this. This. So what I'm saying, this marks is in between 80 to 89. Means it has to be, this marks either has to be greater than equal to 90, sorry 80, or less than equal to 89. Then B. तो देखो यहाँ पे क्या था, यहाँ पे हमें देखना था कि सिर्फ 90 से 90 या उससे बड़ा है क्या। तो हमने क्या किया, इफ मार्क्स ग्रेटर देन और इक्वल टू 90, बस हो गया। पर यहाँ पे हमें देखना है कि ये मार्क्स 80 और उससे बड़ा, 89 या उससे छोटा, ये दोनों है क्या। इसलिए हमने क्या किया, इनको अलग अलग लिखा और बीच में एक एंड डाल दिया, जिसको हम ऐसे भी लिख सकते हैं कि इफ मार्क्स greater than equal to 80, less than equal to 89. That's it. ठीक है, and same to same we can write for C. What will write for C? 70 to 79. So the lower limit will be 70, it will be 79. For D, 60 to 69. This will be 60, this will be 69. Next try. Below 60. Now if it's easier. Below 60. For this, I have two options. Either I can write again like this. If 60 greater than, sorry, less than marks, print F. I can write this. This will be specific that we are checking this. So let us now see this in action. Let me run it. So there is some problem because here it is wrong. The marks is less than 60. Okay. Now it is saying B. So the marks was 80.5 and that given table is 80 से 89 तक B. तो हमारा रिजल्ट आया है B. Suppose the result is 99%. So if I run this, it is A. Now if I put 25%, it will be F. Now इस प्रोग्राम में आप देखो और मुझे बताओ अगर आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आया है तो। आज के होमवर्क में ऐसे प्रोग्राम्स रहेंगे, तो अगर आप भी आपको ये क्लियर नहीं हुआ है तो होमवर्क आप कर नहीं पाओगे, लेकिन वो आपको करना पड़ेगा। तो अगर डाउट है, डोंट फील शाय कि हाँ बाकियों को समझ में आ रहा है मुझे नहीं आ रहा है। इट्स नॉट लाइक दैट। ऐसा होता है कि कोई एक कंसेप्ट आपको अभी नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, बाकी को आ रहा है, लेकिन the another concept will not make sense to them, but you will easily understand that, right? So don't feel shy. बताओ अगर किसी को कोई डाउट है तो। तो सबको समझ में आया क्या? ओके ठीक है। अभी जो दो प्रोग्राम मैंने किया ना वो आपकी होमवर्क का 1 और 2 था, ठीक है। देन एक प्रोग्राम है, तो मैंने अभी आज व्हाट्सएप में जो नया वो शेयर किया था, उसी में वो प्रोग्राम्स हैं। अंदर प्रोग्राम इज दिस, काफी बड़ा है, तो मैं आपको होमवर्क से ही दिखा देता हूँ। तो इट सेज, आ गया इफ एल्स, हाँ, तो इफ एल्स के अंडर में जो प्रोग्राम्स है वो आपका होमवर्क रहेगा। इसमें से दिस नंबर 3, व्हाट इट सेज, पॉजिटिव नेगेटिव नंबर। ओके, राइट ए प्रोग्राम दैट रीड्स an integer from the user and prints positive if the number is greater than 0, negative if it is less than 0, and 0 if it is equal to 0। ठीक है, तो ये क्या बोल रहा है कि यूजर से एक नंबर लेना है एंड अगर वो नंबर 0 से बड़ा हुआ तो आपको प्रिंट करना है पॉजिटिव, अगर वो नंबर 0 से छोटा हुआ आपको प्रिंट करना है नेगेटिव, अगर वो नंबर 0 हुआ तो आपको प्रिंट करना है 0। तो मैं आप सबको 10 मिनट्स का टाइम देता हूँ, ये प्रोग्राम आप लिखो। इसमें जिसके लोकली है सेटअप किया हुआ आप लोकल में कर सकते हो, नहीं तो वेब में भी कर सकते हो, डब्ल्यूएच स्कूल के वो जहाँ पे पाइथन कोड लिखते हैं वहां पे लिख सकते हो। तो इंस्टेड ऑफ टेकिंग द इनपुट फ्रॉम यूजर, क्योंकि वेब में आप यूजर से इनपुट नहीं ले पाओगे, आप मेरी ही तरह कांस्टेंट वैल्यू ले सकते हो, जैसे यहाँ पे मैंने लिया, ऐसे ही कांस्टेंट वैल्यू ले सकते हो और इसको बार बार चेंज करके आप प्रोग्राम को रन कर सकते हो। आपको मैं 10 मिनट दे रहा हूँ जिसमें आप एक कोड लिखो, प्रोग्राम फिर से समझ लो एक बार। द प्रोग्राम इज दिस, ये मैंने शेयर भी किया है आज, अभी व्हाट्सएप में मैंने आज जो शेयर किया था प्रैक्टिस प्रोग्राम्स, उसमें ही है, इफ एल्स में। आपको एक नंबर लेना है जस्ट लाइक दिस, ऐसे एक नंबर लेना है। अगर ये नंबर 0 से भरा हुआ आपको प्रिंट करना है पॉजिटिव, अगर ये 0 से छोटा हुआ तो आपको प्रिंट करना है नेगेटिव, अगर ये 0 हुआ आपको प्रिंट करना है 0। क्या प्रोग्राम समझ में आया? करना क्या है?
Yes, sir.
ठीक है, तो आपको मैं 10 मिनट देता हूँ अभी। इट इज बिंग 4:10, आप लोग करके हर किसी का चैट में पुट करो, नहीं करके आपके पास रखो, पुट मत करो फिर, लेकिन मुझे बताओ कि हुआ है, फिर जब मैं बोलूंगा तब चैट में इसका स्क्रीनशॉट पुट कर दो, ठीक है? तो सभी ये करो एंड यू हैव 10 मिनट्स, यूज टाइम स्टार्ट्स नाउ। ओके, टाइम्स अप। किसी का हुआ है? कुंजल का हुआ है।
Yes.
और अनुपम, स्नेहा, आप लोगों का? तो बोलो। तो आप लोग जो हमेशा माइक्रोफोन म्यूट करके रख देते हो ना, मुझे इससे चिढ़ है बहुत।
मेरा एरर आ रहा है।
Let's do one thing. Everybody put the solution. जिसने भी जो किया है, let's put the solution in chat. Let me see. एरर आना भी अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि एरर में ही लिखा रहता है व्हाट इज रॉन्ग। अगर एरर भी नहीं आता है एंड एक्सपेक्टेड आउटपुट भी नहीं मिलता है, तो दैट इज समथिंग मोर प्रॉब्लमेटिक। एरर आना अच्छी बात है, क्योंकि उसमें दिखता है कि व्हाट इज रॉन्ग। तो आप लोग एक काम कर सकते हो, वन बाय वन अपना स्क्रीन शेयर कर सकते हो, करके दिखा सकते हो मुझे, और you can put the thing. Okay, so Panjaro shared the code. So it says x equal to 2. If x equal to 0, print number is 0. X less than 0 is negative. X greater than 0 is positive. That's it. As simple as that. User number, int, input, enter number. User number greater than 0, positive. तो यहाँ पे इंडेंट का प्रॉब्लम होगा। एंड मैसेज, एरर मैसेज में क्या बोल रहा है? इंडेंट का ही इशू बोल रहा है ना? What is the error message?
सेंड करता हूँ।
अरे बोलने से पहले ही आप लोग म्यूट कर देते हो।
आई विल सेंड इट।
पढ़ो तो क्या बोला है। ये किसका है? स्नेहा का है क्या? Whose screen is being shared?
So this is mine.
This is or this was? अभी तो नहीं दिख रहा है। And अनुपम, the pictures that you are sharing now, this is hardly visible, क्योंकि उसमें कुछ दिखता ही नहीं है। Very low quality. Okay, so it says number. तो नंबर का वैल्यू कहाँ से आएगा स्नेहा? क्योंकि नंबर वेरिएबल है, ये अनडिफाइंड है, क्योंकि आप इसको जो यूज कर रहे हो उसके पहले नंबर कहीं पे है ही नहीं, तो इसको नहीं पता है कि नंबर कहाँ से आ रहा है। ओके, तो अब और इंडेंट भी नहीं है। इफ के अंदर वो जो आपने प्रिंट लिखा है वो तो इंडेंट होना चाहिए ना, टू इंडिकेट दैट कि ये इफ के अंदर है। इंडेंटेशन भी, तो यहाँ पे दो एरर दिख रहे हैं मेरे को। एक कि नंबर पहले से डिफाइंड नहीं है, मतलब नंबर का एक वैल्यू चाहिए, नहीं तो वो किस नंबर को चेक करेगा, ये एक प्रॉब्लम है। एंड सेकंड इज इंडेंट नहीं है, ये दो प्रॉब्लम है। और देखो तुम्हारे एरर में बोल भी रहा है कि इंडेंटेशन एरर। फिक्स करो इसको, इन दोनों को फिक्स करो। सबसे पहले तो तुम एक नंबर का वैल्यू लो। जहाँ पे दिखा रहे थे वहीं पे फिक्स करना चाहिए, वहीं पे फिक्स करो। वो कहाँ गया? तो देखो ये माइनर माइनर एरर आ रहा है आप दोनों को। एक तो इंडेंटेशन का है नेहा, और दूसरा आपने वेरिएबल लिया ही नहीं। एंड अनुपम मोस्ट प्रोबेबली तुम्हारा भी अनुपम है ही नहीं, इंडेंटेशन का ही एरर है। तो ये आप लोगों का होमवर्क रहेगा। व्हाट्सएप में मैंने ये जो जिस डॉक्यूमेंट से मैंने इस प्रॉब्लम को दिखाया था, तो व्हाट्सएप में मैंने इसका लिंक शेयर किया है, जिसमें बहुत सारे प्रोग्राम्स है। उसमें इफ एल्स के अंदर में जो प्रोग्राम्स है वो आपका होमवर्क है, ठीक है। तो देयर आर, बता देता हूँ कितने।
Total 10 questions.
10 है, ओके। तो ये 10 जो है आप लोगों का होमवर्क रहेगा। कोशिश करो जितना हो सकता है सॉल्व करने का। एंड उसका कोड जब आप करोगे, करने के बाद अगर ये सक्सेसफुली रन हो जाएगा, उस कोड को आप कॉपी करके आपके पास कहीं पे एक फाइल पे रख दो। एंड नेक्स्ट एंड हो जाएगा तो आप इसको मुझे मेल भी कर सकते हो। मैं मेल आईडी व्हाट्सएप पे मेंशन कर दे रहा हूँ। तो आप आपका जो सोल्यूशन है वो एक एक करके, या फिर सब हो जाने के बाद नेक्स्ट फ्राइडे को आप मुझे मेल कर देना आप लोग, मैं चेक कर लूंगा। लेट मी
Okay, sir.
share the email. Please practice if else programs and send your solution to email ID. No. ओके, तो इफ एल्स के सारे जो प्रोग्राम्स है वो आपका होमवर्क रहेगा। वो फ्राइडे तक आप लोग भेज देना। सैटरडे को अगर कोई प्रॉब्लम रहेगा तो डिस्कस कर लेंगे, नहीं तो नेक्स्ट टॉपिक हम करेंगे। ओके, so with that we'll finish this up little early today. And whoever is not available will share the recordings. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.